Hey folks, Jordan Looks Survival. So it just finished raining here, guys. I didn't film during the rain because it was pouring cats and dogs, and well, I use my phone for a camera, and I don't want to ruin that. So yeah, out here, literally maybe 10 minutes after the rain stopped. Everything is still soaking wet, as you guys can see out here in the forest, and we're gonna explore what we're gonna do to start a fire in wet weather conditions. Okay, so first things first, guys. What we want to do is find some kind of place that has a lot of, I guess, canopy, vegetation, leaves, branches, whatever above us. So if I tilt the camera up, you guys can see kind of round in a 360 where I'm standing at currently in my forest. So it doesn't really matter if it's going to be coniferous or deciduous trees that you won't go under. You just want to find some place that's going to work for you to give you some shelter from the rain. Now, granted, if it's pouring as hard as it was, not going to really help too much. That's why you need to bring some kind of shelter system, like a tarp with you, or a poncho, rain jacket, because at the end of the day, if you don't have some kind of thing that you can throw above you, again, tarp, poncho, whatever, you're gonna have to shield it with your own body. Even if you're wearing something like this or a rain jacket, you're gonna have to shield your fire with your body. So first things first, besides that, okay, let's say we find a suitable location, which kind of all around here is pretty good, but whatever. What we're gonna do is try to find some dry tinder source, right? So we're gonna go from pencil lead, pencil size, up to finger size to wrist size, right? That's kind of the, I guess, series of fuel for fire we're going to go with. Now, ignition source, of course, having an open flame, like this lighter in my pocket, will be the best source because it's open flame. It's going to dry out whatever you touch with it. I'm going to try using a ferrous steam rod, guys, because it's a little more challenging, and I feel a lot more people probably are in tune to, okay, I can light a fire with a lighter. Duh, anybody can do that. Maintaining a fire in wet weather conditions is a little different when you ignite it, but we're going to use a ferrous steam rod in this video. All right, folks, so when we're sitting here trying to find a spot for shelter, we're going to want to choose something that's going to be parallel with the wind. Why is that important? So when you build your fire, granted, if this is a life and death situation, it doesn't really matter too much, but I'd choose something that's parallel with the wind. You're opening. That way, when your fire is here, it's not blowing smoke in your face. It's not inconvenient. It's not uncomfortable. It's something that's going to keep you warm, dry. You're going to stay in place, sitting there getting too smoked out, standing up, getting wet again, coming back to your shelter, so on and so forth. Now, when we pack our bags, guys, always put the stuff you need first at easy access, right? So here I have this little flap, have my ridge line, have my tarp. Really simple, guys. I've seen this 1,000 times over on YouTube. That's okay. Okay. Got that set up. Alright, guys, so these two branches, I cut off a standing tree. And this is a pine branch I found just on the forest floor here. Most people will tell you not to get branches and stuff like that off the forest floor because they're going to be soaking wet. That is highly dependent because, as you guys can probably see on this end here, I already cut off a test cut. It's bone dry. Let's see about this side over here. So I want to prove a point about something real quick too. Just because it says something in survival books or whatever is not always a steadfast rule. Okay, survival, bushcraft, what do you want to call it? Minus the basic stuff, guys, it's pretty dynamic. Like you guys can see, that's bone dry, okay? So we'll save that for a little base of a fire. And again, that was off the forest floor. It rained since about, I want to say 2:30, 3 a.m. last night. So it's been soaking quite a bit. Now, like we're saying, we want pencil lead, pencil size elements to have with our fire, right? And you sit here, if it's not an emergency situation, and try to remove the wetness of these little branches here by taking a cotton rag and wiping them off, or maybe taking the back of your knife and trying to sit there and get that outside bark off like this, guys. Okay, yeah, that'll work, sure. But in a true situation where you're soaking wet, it's a prevailing wind, it's super cold out, whatever, and you're by yourself, I'm not gonna have time for that. So what we're gonna do is just set these aside, and you wanna collect, in that situation, like a big armful, like a hug-sized bundle, is what you wanna go after here. This rest of the stuff, I'll show you guys what we're gonna do with. So, we use, say, this one here as an example. Right, I have this on. Just strip away the outside bark and the inner wood that's damp. Get rid of that. Awesome, perfect. And I'm not gonna make feather sticks. I don't have time for that. I just wanna make shavings for this project. But I gotta make sure this is dry wood I'm peeling off, not moist, because the moisture is gonna hinder the ignition process. Do the cheek test. If your cheek's dry, I feel this is all dry. That works for me. Let's put that there for now, I guess. Now, the reason why I wear my pirate cap, as some of you guys have called it, so I can collect stuff, like so. Alright guys, so what you want with this is a softball-sized pile of shavings. Now, it would also help if you brought along some man-made tinder. I mean, there's hundreds of products out there now for that stuff. But in case you didn't have any, you ran out, whatever it is, this would work for you rather well. So I'll make this pile, guys, and I'll see you in a minute. Alright, guys. I doubt the camera's picking it up. But there's thunder rolling in. I can see through the trees over here in the horizon. There's some rain clouds moving in. So, anyways, when I say softball size, guys, for your tinder pile, I mean softball size, because it's going to help you out in the long run. Because remember, what we got here to use is wet. We need something that's going to last long as an open flame, especially if you don't have a lighter or something like that. Now, we're going to use a kerosene rod. What I try to do is get a little bit of a pile of shavings. A spot. I don't care how many times you think you have to strike a kerosene rod, you go until you get a flame. Got a little flame in the center. Oh, there we go. Hopefully it can sit here and move this in. Alright, so I'm going to take little chunks, the smallest twigs I can get out of this pile, guys. And yeah, I should have organized it beforehand, but this is me. So I'm going to play pick'em sticks. We're going to kind of throw them in random order because fire loves chaos. Now you can tell when you can put more kindling on, guys, is when you see the flames come out either the top or the sides, the fire's doing healthy. Just use your experience. You can manipulate this pile to how you need to go, because a lot of this is not smoke, a lot of this is just steam. Hope you guys can still see a little bit. But there's that effect. And again, the effect of the parallel wind from our shelter. It's not really blowing into my shelter too much. It's more so going along the sides. Sit there, help it out by wiping off the damp stuff, or you can even take your knife and kind of peel it off. Be nice to the fire. Give it some dry fuel to work with so it dries you out. You work with it, it'll work with you. So let that build up, guys. And yes, you're going to want to actually get a large pile before you do any of this stuff, so you're not running around grabbing wood and going, oh crap, my fire's so bad, good while I'm gone. All right, guys, so this is pretty easy peasy. It's pretty basic stuff. Honestly, if I can do this, anybody can do this, guys. Don't try to sell yourself short ever with what your abilities are. Now, remember, okay, first things first, if we're ever caught in inclement weather where it's raining or snowing, one of the two, whatever it's going to be, it's going to affect our ability to make a fire, or perhaps we're getting cold, getting soaked, wet, whatever, we need to dry off, get warm. Okay, first things first, look for a suitable shelter location. Canopy above us, maybe some low coniferous trees by us so it helps block the wind and the rain or snow or whatever. Set up a shelter, hopefully a tarp, hopefully you brought something. If not, you're going to have to use your body. It's not a good situation if you don't bring at least a tarp or a poncho, something that you can make a emergency shelter with. That's key. Now on top of that, guys, set that up. 60-degree pitch is best. Kind of repel stuff off you. You want to get some dry material from mostly pine trees. I'm not going to lie to you guys, that is the best place to go. Or softer wood such as basswood, aspen, so on and so forth. Make sure they're, if you can, make sure the dead branches. That's going to work best for you. Shave off or get rid of all the outer bark or outer wood that's wet. Get to the inside where you get the dry wood, guys. You're going to make a softball-sized tinder bundle for your fire, guys. And I mean softball size or bigger if you want to. So you have a longer burning time for your tinder to affect your kindling, okay? Make sure your shelter's set up so the openings has the parallel wind effect here. So you don't have smoke blowing in here, bugging you. You're not going to get smoked out of your shelter, getting wet again, come back, get dry. Go through that horrible cycle. Make sure it's comfortable in here. And pretty much just wait out the storm from there, guys. So yeah, as always, thanks for watching. Stay frosty, prep up. God bless.